Hello, human peoples. You're listening to the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. To support us and gain access to great exclusive podcasts like Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Star Trek The Next Futurama, and our latest show, Spiel Boys, head over to patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We do game streaming, movie nights with our patrons every Friday night, and you can even commission your own podcast about anything you want. Literally anything, within reason, and we have to do it. You are quite frankly out of excuses not to go visit patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Come on, you woolly bastard! Come on!
The call of the noble Sasquatch.
The wild man.
The wild man of, what was it called?
The Navidad.
Navidad, that's right.
Oh, we already
Navidad
spoiled
River.
the movie. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome all. Have we?
I don't know.
Telling them the
No.
title is spoiling the movie?
I mean, we're spoiling our podcast. We're spoiling the first minute of our podcast,
Oh.
right? Because we normally say, hi, everybody, welcome to Sasquatch.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah,
We told it out of sequence. We Tarantino'd it.
we did. I'm one of your hosts, David Bell.
I'm the other one, Tom Ryman.
And this is a what is this called? A podcast?
I think so. Yeah. An audio log.
I just woke up.
You
and
guys
slammed
found
an
this on the
energy drink.
ground in BioShock.
Yeah. What's happening is because my mouth is moving faster than my brain, you
Yes.
know? It's
Oh,
one
yeah.
of those.
That's every day for me.
Yeah. It's the podcast life, man. Podcast life. We're this is our job. Our job is to
Woo,
just talk.
We're cursed. Like Sasquatch, we are cursed.
Big old thank you to Bob Grenville,
Thank
our
you.
Patreon producer. Bob Grenville gave us a specific list of Sasquatch films that we are going to watch.
We
Where
sure
so
are.
far I don't think we're even halfway through.
I feel like we're pretty deep in the woods at this point, though. It's too late to turn back, that's for sure. We're going to have to camp here for the night.
We're almost halfway through. We're one movie away being halfway through.
Ooh.
Yeah. And we're watching Bigfoot films, and we're trying to learn about Bigfoot using this very scientific method.
We're gaining their knowledge.
We really are. And then we're talking about Mulder. We're talking about what Mulder perhaps would do. Again, very scientific method.
Mm-hmm.
And I think by the end of this, I was thinking, Tom, once we boil, because we have now like
We have a
70
lot. We've compiled a lot of research.
yes. I think once we're done, we should boil it down to like 20 and then make a shirt with the Bigfoot facts on them.
a fine
just
idea.
a list. Yeah.
It's a fine
Of
idea.
just Bigfoot facts. And then
Boil
everybody
it
can have
down
them.
like Bigfoot tallow
yeah, exactly.
to make Bigfoot soap. To sell at Michael Shannon's country store.
the worst kind of soap. Bigfoot soap.
Bigfoot soap.
Smell like Bigfoot. And we are at 2009's The Wild Man of the Navidad. Based off a true story, Tom.
Sure.
Or rather, a true cryptid. This might be the closest to a true story because I looked it up. I accidentally looked it up because when I Googled this, it gave me
The
Wikipedia
real story
for it.
and not the
Yeah.
movie. That's interesting. I would not have guessed. It's because they advertise it in the description as being from some of the makers of the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So when it starts like, this is a true story, I was like, yeah,
Right.
okay.
Also, when they say from the makers of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, they mean the writer produced it along with 9 other people. But the writer did like work with them closely. I looked that up because this was made by the writer's film students. So like I think he was teaching a class basically, and they made this movie, and then they went, "Hey, this is good," and they went with it.
There's a lot of Texas Chainsaw in it. It's got those
Yes.
vibes.
It's clear, yes, and I want to talk about that for sure. But would you believe that the original story is racist?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would. I was towards the edge of my seat on this one.
It is the original story is from the 1800s, and they speculate that it is an escaped slave.
Oh,
Who is so basically it's it's a slave that went die hard is my view of it. And then all the honkies were like, it's an animal.
It's a monster.
And it's like, no, it's just a guy
Bigfoot.
you pissed off.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's it. That's the original story.
Oh.
So they're like, it's a wild man. And it's like, no, it's again, it's a guy you really pissed
He's
off
some
is what
sort
it
of
is.
angered spirit.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's angered, all right.
It's all that human trafficking you're doing.
Yeah. Perhaps it's the human trafficking. Like, no. It's sorcery. But yeah, this movie is grimy as fuck.
It really is, dude. In some areas, I'm not sure to what end.
Okay, good. I want to start with this. We don't normally. I guess we do. I didn't like this movie.
No, neither
I just
did
didn't.
I appreciated how sticky and uncomfortable it is, and the way that Texas Chainsaw is.
Right, but unlike Texas Chainsaw, that question, to what end?
Yeah,
It felt like when I was in film school where everybody was doing Tarantino but didn't understand like what the point of doing that was. They just were doing it.
mm-hmm.
This felt like it was.
It's doing Texas Chainsaw without understanding why, because it's doing this.
Right.
This movie casts, at least it purportedly does, and I find it very easy to believe, a lot of locals and like the filmmakers' family members and friends and stuff. It's a lot of not professional actors. They're just,
And you can tell.
you can super tell. But to film these people who are not written to be sinister, but to do this movie as a Texas Chainsaw, you're casting all these people in a sinister light just from jump.
Nobody's likable.
Right, so you're casting this pall on every character in the movie, so it's the reason to do it in Texas Chainsaw is obvious, but to do it here when it's supposed to be about a Bigfoot is the threat, not these people. Like, these people are its victims. It was
right, there are people
strange,
harboring Bigfoot, but yes.
Yeah, it's a strange choice.
It is, and I think, I think it's like, they saw Texas Chainsaw and they saw like it's very film school. So like, no offense to these filmmakers, my offense is more directed towards film students. If that makes sense, where it's like most film students make a film where they look back and they go, "Oh,
oh yeah, we all have done something like that where we were just playing with toys that we didn't understand yet."
Exactly, and that's the vibe I get from this, is that like these filmmakers probably might go on to make some great things, but like this film itself,
it's not poorly made.
It's not poorly made. No, it's jammed with similes, folksy similes.
Oh yeah,
it's like they wrote a list.
They're really trying to Coen Brothers it up.
Yeah, everything is more blank than a blank, tougher than a mule's foreskin, shit like that.
It was a little like Mountain Monsters the movie.
Yeah, but a little
like
more R-rated.
The gritty reboot of Mountain Monsters the movie.
The one I flagged the most is his tits smell like wolf pussy. And I was like, in that sentence, I didn't know what the next word was going to be at any moment.
Right. That's a labyrinth of a sentence.
Yeah.
It's like, where is this going?
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we're going to show like dead animals and bugs and ants on food.
There's a lot of
and
dead
like,
animals. There's a lot of, you don't see the killing like Cannibal Holocaust, but you do see the post-killing of animals.
They clearly got these animals probably legitimately, or as legitimately as
they're a bunch of
could,
real-life Texans playing Texan hunters. So yeah, I imagine they just went out and caught a boar.
Right. Or like, I mean, they probably just talked to local hunters. There's like there's like a deer fetus that I felt like they got from a science lab, like from a college.
Well, yeah, like this the Mountain Monsters thing too.
Yeah.
If listeners, if you, I'm sure you are, but if you're listening to Big Feats from the Hot Dog Guys, then that's the show we're referring to.
Yeah.
But like, they have that den where it's all the old bones and skins and stuff. They're definitely like buying that stuff from like slaughterhouses or hunters or something.
This definitely felt the closest to a Mountain Monsters movie.
Yeah, because it's a bunch of people,
also a
bunch of local actors doing real threadbare improv in the woods, although this one actually has a pretty fearsome monster costume, or guy in a monster costume.
I mean, it's a guy in a bunch of fur coats. I wasn't that impressed, only because
I'm not impressed with them. I'm just saying they're chasing a physical thing as opposed to Mountain Monsters, where it's the theater of imagination.
Yes, that's true. Where you never quite see it.
They actually have somebody to chase in this one. And just like in Mountain Monsters, they do get really excited when they get to fire their guns for real, which they do in this movie.
They sure do. Yeah, it felt like they had maybe 6 minutes of monster footage and they built a movie around it. That was the other issue, is like, this movie's boring.
Oh yeah, for long stretches, even though it's 87 minutes.
Right. It felt like it was a 3-hour movie. I felt like I was watching the longest movie ever made.
In fairness, I watched it on Freevee, so it did take longer than 87 minutes to watch.
Yeah,
it took like a full 2 hours to watch it.
I rented it. I was like, fuck that.
I didn't see the rental option, but anyway, that doesn't need to go in the show.
It did. It did.
And now it's in there.
So there it's a lot of like, let's just be really grimy, and then like most of it is just like the life of these people. And then sometimes there's Bigfoot, and there's a lot of suspense to little payoff, I thought. And it doesn't really, it tells a bare bones story, which I guess I could tell you, which is about this guy whose wife is afflicted with extreme tiredness. They
said she had a stroke in a car accident, but it also seems like her caretaker is keeping her in a medical coma so he can molest her.
Yes, that is what it seems like. There's
that thread is never wrapped up or directly addressed.
Yes, this is the weirdest note I have because it makes me sound like a fucking freak. But there's a scene where he's sniffing her clean underwear.
That's where we meet him.
Yeah.
That's the first time we see this character.
He has his pants down as if he's going to masturbate. And the first thing I thought, and again, it's real weird, I was just like, that just smells like linen. What's the point of that? Isn't it supposed to be like a pervert sniffing dirty underwear? Isn't that the point?
I don't think it matters, man.
I don't think it matters. Yeah, you're probably right. I guess that makes me like innocent since I don't understand. Therefore, I am good.
That's right.
I'm good for thinking
it was.
this.
It was actually a very moral thing you just said.
Yeah. But that's what I mean where they're like, let's make it grimy. So like make these characters grimy.
Yeah. Why did they make this character a sex maniac for no reason? Like he's this weird, creepy pervert.
He's the caretaker, and then the husband is
he's
the
off
one who's
trying to make
harboring.
money.
Yeah. The idea is he's trying to pay for her medical stuff. So he gets fired from his job, and then he starts renting out the property to hunters who inevitably are getting murdered by Bigfoot because they know there's a Bigfoot. Every night they're leaving out meat for this Bigfoot. And there's this like implied lore there where like they seem to know like when it doesn't come, they're like, this is very bad and stuff like that, where it's like they have a relationship, but it never, like they talked about his dad, something happening to his dad. And I assume that meant his dad was killed by this creature.
Yeah, or his dad did the same thing that he's doing, like has the transactional. They leave him a skinned rabbit, and he leaves him a little like rock necklace.
Yes, he leaves offerings.
Yeah, he leaves him little things, little trinkets, for the kids.
Yeah. But I assumed like it was going to be like the uncle in Demon Warp, where it's like, oh no, the dad is the wild man.
For sure. That's where I thought it was going.
And it doesn't go anywhere.
No, it's just it's a human man with boar tusks.
Yeah. The ending, spoilers, is they kill it and then the movie ends.
Yeah.
He kills it. So that's what I mean, where it's like that would have been more poetic if he kills it and then the reveal is it's his dad. Because he is sort of forced to kill it because everybody gets wise to it.
Yeah, they get onto its land, it starts killing people, so they form this huge posse. In my favorite part of the movie, where one of the posse dudes has his son with him, and his son gets like attacked, and he goes like, "Pa!" And his dad comes running as he's just getting ripped to shreds by the monster. And his dad
is this
gets
a little
there.
Boy?
He's not a little boy. This is later in the posse scene at the end.
Right. Yeah.
So his dad gets there, and his dude's just fucking dead with his meat hanging out all over the place. And he doesn't react. He's like, "He ran this way, boys!" And they keep running. His son meant nothing to him, Dave.
Nothing. There's a lot of that. And there's other weird things. It opens on this kid hunting with his dad. Everybody hates this kid. That's the first thing like I noted, is that this dad's being like an asshole to this kid who's like 5, maybe a little older. I don't know. And
He's a
he's
young
like,
kid.
and then he brings the kid to a diner, and everybody's roasting this kid for like not shooting the deer. And it was just weird because it's like, why is everybody so? They're like scowling at the kid when he walks in, and it's like, why does everybody hate this child? I again, it's stuff like this where it felt like it wasn't made by someone from this place. Does that make sense? Where it felt like, oh yeah, you know how they're all like, they all hate kids and beat their kids and like are like it. Everybody just sucks in this way that felt like almost offensive to hillbillies, which is weird to say.
They're just all real hostile.
Yeah, they're like needlessly hostile.
Yeah. Hostile and suspicious.
Yeah, and creepy and weird and like
it's not a flattering portrayal of these real life people that they put in this movie.
Right. It isn't. Yeah, they're all racist and they're like
That's true.
I guess
there
it's
is a
supposed
little
to take
bit of
place in
racism,
the 70s, right? So
yeah, that's what it said. It said it was like 30 years ago.
Right. So yeah, that's pretty much the movie, right? Is that they're leaving Bigfoot these little offerings. Meanwhile, these people are showing up to hunt.
It enrages Bigfoot. He kills a few people. There's a posse that goes after Bigfoot. And then Dale, the main guy, kills him. The end.
Yeah. He has his racket is basically he's just not telling people about Bigfoot.
He's just not telling them about the Bigfoot and hoping everything works out.
Right, and it's sort of implied that he's like, it's win-win. Either Bigfoot kills them and I get the money, or they kill Bigfoot, and that's fine too.
It's not a bad racket.
Yeah.
Because honestly, even if most of these guys, like the way they're portrayed in this film, even if he did tell them that there was a Bigfoot down there, they'd still want to go hunt it. Like, telling them that there's a Bigfoot there would not have turned any of them away.
When the first guy shoots at Bigfoot, it looks just like a man. And I was just like, that's just a man you shooting.
Right. It's very obviously
like
a
a
dude
man
in
in
like a
camo.
ghillie suit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, better take my shot. He's also just been drinking moonshine the entire time he was walking out to the plot.
That's my favorite
lease, rather.
subplot is when the two moonshiners are talking and they're like, I think we made the town stupid. Where they're like, I think we fucked up the town so badly with our moonshine. That's a subplot where someone says like the town was ruined by moonshine. And then there's the father son that again, that's like how it opens. And then halfway through, he shows the kid pear pussy, as he puts it, which is cactus. Again, everybody is disgusting. And then he takes a dump and then he dies.
Yeah, he does. Really horrifically.
Yeah, and the boy dies, I believe.
Oh, yeah. No, they're both
And so
dead.
it's like, it's one of those sequences where it's like, why did you start with these two? I think the idea is they wanted to, kind of like Texas Chainsaw or like a horror movie where you take threads and then you end them so people don't know who's going to live and who's going to die, right?
Yeah, that's why I would do it.
Yeah. But most of the movie is just watching people walk around and hunt and like talk about like nothing in particular. It felt like it was just a very simple plot drawn out. There's the guy and his girlfriend who did not feel like they were in the 70s at all.
No, they just they look very modern and they wander into the pet cemetery.
Yep. And then the girlfriend is murdered and that guy fucks right off. He's just like, I love you, bye. Just fucking.
He hits him with a log, and then when that doesn't work, he gets gutted. Like the thing turns around and cuts his stomach open, and then he just runs away. Yeah.
And then he gets in that car with the woman who is way too calm about it.
She is super calm. His guts are all over the seat.
It's the director's mother, I assume, and she's just like, "Don't worry, we'll get you." Like she's not like, "Oh my god, holy shit!" She's acting like she's in on it with the Bigfoot.
Yeah, this is in cahoots with the wild man of the Navidad.
It's Texas Chainsaw Massacre if we're following the family and Leatherface is Bigfoot.
Yes.
Because the idea is like there's this farmland with this family that's kind of fucked up and they're harboring Bigfoot. There's a reason Texas Chainsaw didn't follow the family. Is because that's almost less interesting.
It is less interesting.
This movie would have been a little more interesting, I think, if it was like someone comes through town. I guess it's too much like Texas Chainsaw. And they like go and farm or hunt on this land and there's something killing them and you don't really know what it is at first, you know?
That's just one way to do it.
Yeah.
This is kind of like more like a Frankenstein type angle.
Yeah, I guess so. It just didn't, like you said, it didn't amount to anything. It doesn't really escalate, you know?
No, it really doesn't. Like the escalation obviously is when Bigfoot starts killing people, but that remains pretty steady for the second half of the movie.
Point.
Yeah.
Halfway point, I think, is when he starts killing people, and then they still kind of drag ass. Like, there's a part where one of them finally goes, there is a Bigfoot, we have to hunt it. And then, like, I swear, like 15 minutes of movie passes, and then the hunt starts. And it's one of those moments where they're like, let's go. And then, like, a day passes in their time. And it's like, what are we doing, man?
Why are we giving Bigfoot a head start?
Yeah. And then the ending is they literally just shoot him once. Like, one bullet does it.
Blasts him in the heart. Eat shit, Bigfoot.
Yeah, he kills a couple of people, and then they string him up, take pictures. Pictures that are just going to look like they murdered a man.
It's just going to look like they killed a guy, yeah.
Yeah, just a guy in
It's
camo.
just a crazy guy living in the forest. I mean, granted, he's killed like 9 people at this point.
Yeah, but they string him up like he's the shark in Jaws.
Yeah, like the shark,
and they're taking pictures, and they're like, the world's going to want to see this. And I'm like, I think you're all going to jail.
Let's cut him open and find the rest of the victims.
Yeah.
The license plate falls out of his stomach. Maybe that was like a subtle hint, like the moonshine thing. Like maybe this guy got like just obliterated on moonshine and it deleted his brain.
Maybe, yeah. See, I needed more of that. I thought the ending could have been like The Departed in a way. This is a weird comparison, but like the idea that this guy's harboring and working with Bigfoot and then has to shoot him. And I thought there'd just be more to that.
Yeah, because it's like, why isn't he telling anybody about it?
Right. They never really explain
why is he keeping this secret? Like, what's the advantage of doing this?
I don't know. Because it's like, you want money.
Because he starts
charge more for Bigfoot hunts.
Right, he starts letting people hunt on the land, and granted, a bunch of people die, but within 3 days, that motherfucker's hanging up by his neck in town square.
Yeah.
Problem solved.
All it took was a handful of dudes.
Yeah, it just took you saying, hey, there's a Bigfoot on this land, and you know what? All these good old boys were happy to go shoot it.
Yeah, not even good hunter. There's one guy who goes hunting in like a freshly pressed linen shirt, where I was like, you're going to get that shit messy, man.
And he does.
They're not, yeah, he does. There's not good, yeah, it's not even like we need a quint. It like a Bigfoot Jaws would have been a compelling idea, you know?
Well, we keep mentioning Jaws. Literally, look at what happens in Jaws. When Mrs. Kittner puts the ad out, a bunch of maniacs show up and kill a shark.
Right, and this is Jaws if those maniacs got the shark.
Yes, yeah.
And there was no ending. That's it. Like, this was almost lacking a third act. Yeah.
It really does. Yeah, it's very abrupt.
Yeah, and again, it's abrupt, yet it's so slow. Like, I'm trying to think of other side characters. There's the guy who takes his job.
Yeah, Carl, the weirdly hot guy who takes his
job.
So
he's another guy who's
the one
modern
dude who
face.
He looks like a professional actor from 2009.
Yes, he does.
There's this one dude that weirdly looks like an actor in the middle of all these people. Anyway, he's the first guy that shoots at Bigfoot. And then he
doesn't die.
No, he doesn't, but he's added to the finale but doesn't do anything. Do you remember? Like, they show him, like, the posse's out there, and then randomly they show him running in with his rifle from another direction, even though the last time we saw him, he was blackout day drunk on moonshine at the bar. And then we have another shot of him running through the forest, and then that's it. Like, he doesn't shoot Bigfoot. He doesn't ever meet up with the posse or anything. I don't know what happened to him.
It feels very film school in that I feel like they were like, why do we need arcs? Things can just happen, man. You know, it's that feeling of like, life doesn't have arcs. And it's like, yeah, but movies aren't fun without...
Movies aren't life.
Arcs. Yeah. Where it's like
the goal
these characters...
here is not to recreate real life.
Right. It's that thing where you look at Tarantino and you might mistakenly think that there aren't arcs, you know, where it's like, yeah, people just shoot at each other and die. And like, but it's like, there's still like stories being told with beginning, middles, and ends. And sometimes there's like, yeah, they'll abruptly end that story, but it's trying to say something.
Right. There's a reason John Travolta gets shot unceremoniously in Pulp Fiction.
Right. And so the beginning of this is like, we set up all these things and then it's just very anticlimactic where none of the stuff is paid off. And so at the end, you just go like, why did you make me watch that? Why did you make me watch this guy like molest this woman?
That's the that's the unexcusable one, in my opinion.
Yeah, because it's like shock value.
Right.
It's like, it's edgy. It's edgy to do because it's grimy, but it means nothing.
And then they show her trying to cut her own wrist with a kitchen knife at one point.
Yeah, and then he chokes her. And I'm like, well, what is this?
Yeah.
He like tries to kill her for trying to kill herself. And then it's
such a weird,
real dark and weird.
It's such a weird thing to include and not like address in any way or wrap up in any way, aside from the fucking pervert just gets dragged off into the forest by a Bigfoot man.
They needed, and this is, again, I think this is a very common issue in film school, is like a lack of storytellers. And what I mean by that is like film students, they get all this equipment. They're learning about like, oh, a push-pull, or like this shot, or like this equipment, and they want to use it, and they're not really thinking about story as much. Like story is almost like secondary when you're in film school, where they're
That's
like,
the point.
well,
You're learning.
Yeah. We're learning the equipment, so let's like make something up real quick. And so like to them, it's like story is just a series of moments that they think are cool at this point. And they wanted to make this grimy film, so they threw in all these grimy elements. And when you look at the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, like that doesn't have too much of an arc. It's just who will live and what will be left of them. Who will
survive and what will be left of them.
Yeah, exactly. But that movie is unique. Not every movie can be that, you know?
No. It's in fact very hard to do, because many movies have tried to be that.
Right. That movie, like, it had a certain shock value that was new for the time. And then it still has, like, again, basic arc where it's cat and mouse, where it's like, and she got away, you know? That is an arc. And she's gone insane.
Yes.
She's got away and she's out of her mind. But this just... it doesn't really have even that much, but I think that's what they're trying to do, is like slasher film where just people start dropping like flies, and they wanted to start these threads making you think, oh, this little boy and his dad's important. I thought it was a flashback at first because he was talking about his dad, and I was like, was that supposed to be him as a kid?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
What?
I forgot it begins with narration.
Yeah. With, it sounds like...
sounded like Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
Well, I'm here to tell you the story about the wild man of Navidad River.
It really sounds like that.
Yeah.
They got it. They basically were like, let's find the most Sam Elliott.
Let's get this guy. This guy's voice is great.
Yeah.
It's the guy that works at the gas station. He's like the town mechanic. He just has an incredible voice.
Yeah.
We got to get him to record audiobooks.
Yeah. Oh, I had one. There's a scene where he's whittling a tiny ass stick. And that's all I wanted to point out. He's whittling like a twig, and I'm like, to what end are you whittling that twig, sir?
Man, it's passing the time.
Just having some business. It's not even a big enough twig to pass time. You like hit it twice, and you're like, well, that's whittled. That's a whittled stick. He's like just nubbing it down.
I can add one to my journal later. My whittling journal.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's
yeah.
You should have made this a short. This should have been a film school short. That's what it is. It's a short. It's a final project short in film school that they got too big of a head, and they're like, let's make this a movie.
It's a shame.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's time to learn about Bigfoot.
Let's do it, man. We did mine some pretty useful research from this, I think.
Yeah. I'm not going to read all 70 of these, but I will say there's some additions to ones. Bigfoot will break into your house at any time.
He will.
Is confirmed in this.
But he will also cat burgle you.
Yes.
He crept in to this trailer.
He crept in, and I would say he would break into your house at any time, and this is a new one, unless you leave him a little treat.
Yeah, you got to leave him a little rabbit.
Yeah.
Here's a very important one that is related to that. Bigfoot will kill you in your sleep.
Yes. Oh, let me write that down. Bigfoot.
That's a real important thing to remember. That's like, when they're reading the rules about Mogwai, that's rule number 1.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. He will kill you in your sleep, Dave.
Yeah. Another, let's see, I did treats. This is a big one, I think. Bigfoots have familiars. Bigfoots will befriend humans or have deals with humans.
They have little Renfields. Yeah, they have little thralls.
And I know this is going to come up in later movies because I've seen at least one.
There have been people who have gotten too close to Bigfoot in some of the movies we've watched.
Yeah. I have a conflicting one, which is shooting Bigfoot only angers Bigfoot. But then later we see that shooting Bigfoot, one bullet will do it.
Well, here's the thing, Dave.
I just still don't know.
Sometimes Bigfoots aren't Bigfoots.
Ooh, I'll write that
Sometimes
down.
Bigfoots is man. Because we have that. Sometimes Bigfoot is a man in a costume, which we learned.
Yeah, you're right.
From whatever it was called.
Yeah,
the Michael Shannon one.
You're right. Yeah, I also wrote Bigfoot sometimes wears clothes. But again, you're right. If this isn't a Bigfoot, then that negates the two.
It falls within the established rules that we've figured out so far for Sasquatch. So, nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah. Related, I have sometimes Bigfoot is your drunk father taking a dump.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Sometimes Bigfoot's his uncles, which we knew. We knew this. So sometimes Bigfoot's his drunk dads on a camping trip.
When there are no caves, Bigfoots make bone nests. We have seen the second dwelling of Bigfoot. Because if you remember in all these other movies, it's been a cave.
Mm-hmm.
So in Texas, I assume there's no caves here. So he makes a bone nest.
That's probably accurate.
Which is like
I'm going to emphatically say that there are no caves in the state of Texas.
Yeah.
So he had to put up something for insulation, right? That's what all the animal skins were.
Yeah.
And the skulls, it's Texas. Who doesn't have animal skulls on their walls?
Yeah. All right, so we're saying sometimes Bigfoots aren't Bigfoots. They also say he could be a half-breed, which means sometimes people fuck Bigfoots.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That rule was going to get added eventually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sometimes people fuck Bigfeets. That goes in with the familiars, I feel like. Yeah, we're learning about the Bigfoot-human relationship in this. Bigfoots mostly want to punch you to death and just let your organs fly out. The Bigfoot in this doesn't eat you. He just does picking up change and into your torso.
But basically. He has these huge raptor claws on his hands. He's not punching them.
Yes. Well, he also has. Did you notice he also is holding an antler? So sometimes Bigfoots use antlers.
Yeah. I think that's what he's using. Actually,
it's hard to tell what's supposed to be a costume and what isn't. You know,
I'm sure that's intentional. They handle the monster pretty well for as goofy as it looks. So it's a lot of impressionistic stuff. But sometimes Bigfeets use murder weapons. I don't know.
Yeah.
Bigfoots can use simple tools.
Yeah.
They understand cars and engines.
This one's really rough. This takes place in the town of Sublime, so I just wrote Bigfoot like Sublime. You could take the band, maybe the band, you know? I don't know.
It's worth a shot. It's worth a shot.
Yeah, I'll put a question mark on that one.
Just if you find yourself being pursued on your mountain bike through the forest by an impossibly fast Sasquatch, just start playing Santeria and see what happens.
See what happens. Maybe he'll like it.
Maybe he'll jam out. Maybe he'll stop picking up change. Stop and pick up change, but not on you.
Right.
Just on the ground, like in a jovial sense.
Yeah. Bigfoot leaves you little gifts. Or Bigfoot likes crafting, doesn't he?
He does. Bigfoot likes crafting. Bigfoot understands trade and economy.
I'm putting these all down, yeah.
Bigfoot understands the concept of ownership.
And the economy, yeah. That's actually pretty terrifying.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I don't like that Bigfoot understands the economy.
I don't like most of the things we've learned about Bigfoot.
No.
None of this makes me comfortable or puts me at ease.
No.
We need to burn down every tree.
Yeah.
Every tree.
Sorry, I just looked back at some of our old ones. Another confirmed one. This was from Drawing Flies. Sometimes Bigfoots are in grunge art school films. That counts for this one.
It sure does.
I also have Don't Trust Bigfoot. And that's from Drawing Flies, but I'm like, that's a given, right? I don't even remember.
You shouldn't really enter into a bargain with Bigfoot, as we see.
No.
That was confirmed here by Dale's relationship with the Squatch.
Yeah. I'm just looking at past ones now. Bigfoot is a slur from Drawing Flies.
Yeah, I think we got the sense of that.
Bigfoots get married and divorced. That one's in there. Let's see. Oh yeah, Drawing Flies. Also, we confirmed that they have human companions. Because that's Jason Lee becomes the human companion, doesn't he?
That's right.
we're really figuring out the Bigfoot's relationship with.
That's why they're the half-breeds. They were studying Jason Lee out.
Okay. So they draw you into the woods with their psychic powers.
Right. They give you
like in Drawing
dreams
Flies.
and give you a
fuck
promise
Bigfoot.
of a good life free from rules in the forest, and you just have to fuck a lot of Bigfoots.
All right. So wait, should we say Bigfoot plus Jason Lee equals Wild Man?
Yes. That's the Urukai of Big Feet.
Okay, we're learning something.
We
here.
are, yeah.
Because
that was a major one.
That is a major one because we're kind of looking at like the family tree now, and we're seeing like, okay, Bigfoot will kill you 5 out of every 6 times. I wonder if how many deaths are in this?
Man.
I don't know.
There's
Should have
the
written them down.
dad and his little boy. There's the guy and
That's
his girlfriend.
Well, just the girlfriend, so 3.
There's the couple of guys in the posse at the end.
Okay.
It's like 4 or 5.
If that's 5, and then the 6th time he dies, that would be confirmed for this.
Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Bigfoot's only got like 5 kills in him. I think right now the ones that I'm like I feel very confident about is the fact that Bigfoot will break into your house, and Bigfoot has human familiars,
and he will kill you in your sleep.
We do have Bigfoot is sneaky in other ones, so yeah, and will kill you in your sleep. That kind of goes hand in hand with he's sneaky. And I think it's safe to say that Bigfoots are either divorced or single fathers.
Yeah. No, I think that's been confirmed by a lot of the films we've seen, just by his general vibe.
Yeah, he definitely has the vibe of a single father, just trying to make it work.
Kids keep getting hit by teens driving SUVs.
Yeah. We also said in Demon Warp, Bigfoot doesn't want to eat you. He just likes the thrill of killing. And I think that's actually throughout most of these, which is that Bigfoot usually just punches or rips you to shreds.
Yeah, just pulls you apart.
Yeah, we don't really... That's okay, so that's a big one. What does Bigfoot want? I'm not sure yet.
Not sure. That's a riddle we've still yet to solve.
Yeah, I think by the end of this we have to figure that out.
We should, yeah. If we go with what Demon Warp suggested, it's they're aliens bent on taking over the world by turning us all into their Bigfoot servants. That is but one theory, however.
But like, yeah, the Bigfoot in this.
Sometimes it's a guy in a suit dressing up to delight his town. Sometimes it's a guy in a suit dressing up as a pigman for who knows what reason.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of Pottersville, like he just kind of wanted something to do. He just wanted to belong. He wanted magic in our hearts. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's what Bigfoot just wants, is a little magic in our hearts. Just a little bit of
magic? Just he wants us all to believe in magic one more time.
Maybe.
Just for tonight.
Maybe.
Believe in magic.
All right, let's put a pin in that.
Yeah, maybe Bigfoot's a magician.
Maybe. He could, I mean, he's got those big hands. He could palm stuff really easily, you know? Oh, Bigfoots have huge, stupid teeth. I believe this guy has like weird tusks in this.
Yeah, he's got pig tusks.
All right, I'll give that to
real goofball set of chompers, just like he did in the
Abominable
last
and
one.
Navidad both confirmed that. No, we have Bigfoot is attracted to 2000s party music. That's impossible in this one.
Yeah, we're in the 70s.
That's a shame.
He seems indifferent to bluegrass, though.
Yeah, I think that's like he just thinks it's like nature sounds.
Yeah,
because it's Should we be like Mulder?
I think we should be like Mulder. It's time.
This is all right. So this feels like either a movie that Mulder would watch and then buy tickets to Texas on the FBI credit card.
Yeah,
but if Mulder,
he was already on the phone as soon as the "This is based on a true story" title card came up, buying the tickets. I need 2 tickets for Marty Mulder and Dan Scully.
Yeah. But I can absolutely also see Mulder going to Scully and being like, "Ever hear of the wild man of the Navidad?"
Ever hear of the wild man of the Navidad, Scully?
And then he'd bring his black turtleneck, stand out like a sore fucking thumb in this town.
Just sweating.
Yeah.
Sweating terribly.
This town felt like an X-File because they often go to small towns where it's like a conspiracy.
This felt like an X-Files episode. Like Mulder chasing a monster that turns out to just be some kind of crazed, disfigured man.
Yeah, and you'd be the reveal of like, how long have you been feeding it? Like, I think in the first 5 minutes, he would immediately know this guy renting out hunting land.
This guy's hiding something.
Yeah, he'd be like checking his feet and stuff like that.
I just don't understand, Scully. Why would a man who has all of these acres let his wife suffer so much when he could easily release this land out to get the money he needs to pay for his medicine? I'm telling you, something doesn't add up here. Scott.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he would say.
He would be onto him immediately.
Yeah. I mean,
I think
he is very suspicious. Like when he's offering all the different people the lease to go hunt on his land. He looks like he's sending them
to their death.
He looks like he's sending them to die. Yes.
I would be like, "Are you gonna kill me, sir?
What's
Is there
out
something
there?
Out there?" Yeah.
Like, did you dig a bunch of traps or something?
Yeah. Is there a Bigfoot out there? You have I'm harboring Bigfoot face.
Because when the first guy is like, you got a bear out there or something? And he's like, no bear. I'd be like, okay, all right, everybody stop.
Yeah.
I need you to tell me exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I think there'd be 2 deaths, commercial break deaths. The first hunter that shoots at him, I think if it was an X-Files, he would die.
That guy would have got, yeah.
And then the moonshiners would die, and we'd get a post-ad break where they're looking at his body, and Mulder would be like, "They say alcohol will kill you." He'd give some sort of joke there.
Yeah, it would be something like where they'd see the still blow up in the distance, because you remember they keep talking about Earl is his name. Earl and his still is belching up smoke that sheriffs could see from 2 counties away. I think they tell him something like that. So they do the thing where it blows up, and they're like, oh no, we gotta get out there. And they get out there, and it's all burnt, and his body's all burnt. And then Scully does the autopsy, and she's like, Mulder, this man didn't die of his burns.
Right.
He was gored to death.
Man, why didn't the still blow up in this movie? Yeah. That would have been so much better. It seems like this movie doesn't have the budget for explosions.
It follows all the kind of the similar beats that an X-Files episode would, right? Like it would just end.
The town would get together and go, "We're gonna hunt a Bigfoot," and Mulder
then
and Scully
it would finally be Dale. It would still be Dale shooting it, but I think in the end they would reveal that it was like his dad or something.
I think so.
And that would be
better.
The only real difference.
It'd be better.
But it's already so close to an X-Files episode.
Yeah. Scully would join the hunting party that doesn't see anything.
Exactly.
Mulder would join the other. He'd lose his gun.
Where they all get killed.
Yeah. He would the Bigfoot would throw him into a ditch, and he'd get knocked out and airlifted. And they would all get killed.
In
and
a neck brace.
Yeah. Mulder would get
giving his report
to
Skinner in a neck brace.
And then Bigfoot would get killed by someone else. It'd be another case of they didn't do anything, right? Like they contribute nothing. Ultimately, they would just be there to witness. It would be like reveal.
Skinner and Kirsch or Skinner and Brad Vollmer having like a standing bet on whether or not Mulder's going to show up to give his report with a neck brace on.
Yeah, he'll walk in and one of them quietly hands the other money.
That's my favorite bit in Die Hard.
Oh yeah.
It's a really subtle gag.
Yeah, where one of them hands the other money after he shoots the guy, right?
After Hans Gruber shoots Takagi, Alexander Godunov, Carl hands Theo a 20.
It is a great gag.
In the middle of the scene, it's like, I told you, it's not over yet.
Yeah. That's so good.
Anyway.
Mulder, it's very clear. This is a very clear...
You can easily insert him. Yeah, the Manitou episode is very close to these beats.
Yeah. You just condense this to 45 minutes, have more happen. A few more
when you condense it, you would just, it would happen pretty fast because you would just do the couple of attack scenes that are fatal. And that's like, you got yourselves a full X-Filed episode, baby.
Yeah. Just someone go back and add Mulder and Scully into this.
Get him in there. Just Forrest Gump his ass in there. It'll be great. Yeah. Just, even if he's just screaming and he's singing. And his ass beat by this
There's enough B-roll.
Pig man.
Yeah, Mulder in the woods. There's got to be.
Yeah. Just running frantically like a stray cat.
Yeah.
Like a cat that just escaped.
I think that's it for Mulder.
I think we covered it, yeah.
I think that's it for the episode.
That's it for the episode,
The Wild Man of the Navidad. Tom, you know what we're covering next?
Bobcat one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Willow Creek.
Willow Creek. I kept saying...
Willow Creek, baby.
I kept thinking Wolf Creek. I'm like, no, that's the Australian slasher movie. That's the...
We're going to learn a lot about Bigfoot in Willow Creek.
And we're going to have one lesson that we just learned be strongly reinforced.
Exactly. Absolutely. One that's going to be huge. And Willow Creek was kind of a real documentary that turned into a found footage. So, there's going to be a lot of people just talking about Bigfoot and giving us facts.
It's a little bit similar to this in that way.
Yeah.
It's a much better movie.
A much better movie, yeah. It's a slow burn. It's one of the slowest of burns, but it's very good.
It is. Heck of a payoff. I'm excited to revisit it. I haven't watched it.
Me too.
Since I first saw it. Because like many of Bobcat Goldthwait's movies, they're not movies you watch. It's funny that he has this in common with like Darren Aronofsky. But
yeah,
like, they're movies where you're
once.
like, man, I can't watch this one. It's really good, but fuck, I can't watch these that often.
Yeah.
I'm good for the next 5 or 6. I don't need to watch World's Greatest Dad again for another 5 or 6 years.
Watching Scrooged and knowing the Bobcat Goldthwait will go on to be like a Darren Aronofsky-esque director. That's hilarious.
Hadn't he already made Hot to Trot at that point?
Oh, maybe.
Or Shakes the Clown, whichever it was. I think I think I mistakenly said he's in Hot to Trot. I believe I'm thinking of Shakes the Clown.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway.
I don't know. Fucking weird, but that's going to be exciting.
Yeah, really, really pumped for Willow Creek.
Yeah. So, Bob Grenville, thank you so much.
Thank you.
As always. This is probably, I'm going to say, this hopefully is the worst of the batch. We are going to watch some really grimy movies.
They've all been pretty watchable up to this point. This one and Drawing Flies were the toughest to get through. Yeah, Drawing Flies is at least interesting as a novelty. Because it's like, this is so weird, early Kevin Smith stuff. I found this one less boring than Drawing Flies, to be honest.
That's fair. I think what's the best one been? I feel like Demon Warp.
Demon Warp, probably.
That was the biggest offer. Pottersville
was kind of cute. Yeah, that was a cute movie.
Yeah. But, Willow Creek is, I think,
of the ones that because I've seen it. And what I remember of it compared to the rest of these movies, it is the best one. Easily. For sure. But yeah, thank you to Bob Grenville. This was through our Patreon, patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. GAMEFULLY unemployed. We have exclusive podcasts on there like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, Fox Mulder is a Maniac, Star Trek The Next Futurama, Spiel Boys. Those are all for $5 a month. We also watch movies every Friday night. We really need to watch Demon Warp and Pottersville back to back. We will. Weird we haven't yet. Yeah. We also have a store. Head over to gamefullyunemployed.com where you can find a link to our Teespring store. We have all kinds of cool original artwork and designs. You can get on t-shirts, mugs, stickers, posters, all sorts of things. So slap your squatching peepers onto that. Yeah, squatch all over that. Squatch it. Squatch it hard. Hard and fast. Oh, I love it. All right, bye. Bye.